Hey, this is Matt once again. What about to another video? This is another paid request, this time for Charles Turner. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box down below. But this is for Warm Bodies from 2013. Now, this is a film I had heard of and I've seen once before. And I remember actually being surprisingly decent. And watch it again, yeah, it was actually a pretty decent film. It's a PG-13 zombie love story. I don't know about that. And was this a remake of My Boyfriend's Back? But it's actually at times rather sweet. It's got a pretty good soundtrack. The movie doesn't feel too long at all. I do think the two leads actually garner some chemistry between each other. Nicholas Hoult, he's probably famous for being young Hank McCoy in the new X-Men films. I actually thought he was decent in this as a zombie, as part of a group of zombies at an airport. And he moves around like a zombie does, but his thoughts are kind of wondering about, where he's at, and he can't remember his name. He thinks he started with an R. It was interesting to see a movie where you get the zombie's point of view. How does the zombie feel, think, eat brains? Do they want to feel something? Memory, like I said, memory loss. Imagines what the others were before they turned. Was that guy a janitor? Was that girl a fitness lady? And he just wasn't doing his routine in the airport. And at times he'll go into this airplane and put this record up where you have the song "Missing You," da 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 ba da da da, missing you. He has kind of conversations with this other zombie, played by Rob Corddry. Rob Corddry, he was in Hot Tub Time Machine. Of the main group, he was like the asshole of the group. He's been in other stuff too. And they kind of grunt, and they almost say a word. And so again, this is kind of an interesting take on the zombie genre, because zombie films are so much of a multitude of them. There have been so many kinds of zombie films. Of course, you have Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. I mean, there's Day of the Dead 2. There's Army of the Dead. There's Zombies with a Z. I think there's one probably called Garden of the Dead, and zombies in space, vegetarian zombies. There's been so many damn types of zombies. I think there's a zombie shark. If not, I'm surprised there hasn't been one. It's like, damn, what more can you do with zombies? So again, this was at least a bit refreshing. It was a bit of a change of pace. I think it's based on a novel. I never read the novel. Nicholas Hoult and Teresa Palmer, they have good chemistry with each other for this love story, and that's essential. Nicholas Hoult, again, known for the young Hank McCoy and the newer X-Men films, he's actually pretty decent in this. And one day, him and a group of zombies go out for a bite to eat, while there's other survivors going out for supplies. And during this attack between the two, he's mesmerized by this girl. And then this guy tries to kill him. The guy played by Dave Franco, James Franco's brother. Dave Franco, he was in... What was the movie? He was in 21 Jump Street. He's been in other stuff. And he tries to kill our lead, but the lead attacks him and eats his brains. When you eat the brains, the zombies can find out their memories, which is an interesting idea. And so he sees the memories that Dave Franco had of this girl that makes him fall in love with this girl even more, which is pretty twisted. and because of these certain circumstances, and he saves the girl, he protects the girl, and she's confused, and then they spend time together, because he can actually start talking. You have to wait here. Wait a few days. His heart starts beating. And when his heart starts beating, he starts changing. And then other zombies see this, and their hearts start beating. And it was like they do the E.T. kind of thing. You know how E.T., when you saw his heart through his chest? They kind of do that similar effect, which I thought was kind of cool. And again, it's kind of interesting to do a zombie love story in this fashion that has a bit of a playful sense of humor. Like, she teaches them how to drive, they play games, they listen to songs like Hungry Heart. And yeah, the two I thought worked well together. Nicholas Hoult portrayed a zombie well, with his mannerisms and his movements and trying to talk, but he can't quite talk. He can talk a little bit. Teresa Palmer, she wasn't bitchy, she wasn't wooden, she wasn't fake phony. Like, she, pretty lady, and likable character. And it's a film that's at times original and at times rather sweet. Other people, you have John Malkovich, who plays the lady, Teresa Palmer's father. Then pretty much at one point she finds out he killed her boyfriend, so of course she leaves. And he has regret because he didn't want to do it. He didn't, wasn't in his right mind, of course. Then he starts to realize that the other zombies are changing, and their enemy are these other zombies called Bonies. Bonies are zombies that have lost their face, their structure is just mainly bones, like walking bones. Now, I don't mind the design of them. The design of them I actually think are kind of cool. It's just, that's one of the flaws of the film. The Bonies, the effects are pretty weak. The effects are not up to par. They're not the worst I've seen for CGI, but they're not up to par. There's a part of me that wonders if there was a certain way to do that with makeup, which I think there is. I mean, hell, you could... They don't have to be super thin, but just make them like the Tar Man in Return of the Living Dead. Take the Return of the Living Dead, Tar Man, get a group of makeup effects, have each one of them look like that, and people would buy into it. Oh, but it's not super thin. I think people would be willing to let that go to witness pretty good practical effects. You hire a bunch of very skinny guys. There are very skinny guys out there. There are very skinny guys. I'm sure you can find, 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them, and you shoot some here and you shoot some there, and it's like Aliens. You get like 5, 6 guys, but the way you edit and the way you shoot with angles, you make it look like there's 1,000 of them. I think that would have been for the better. That's just my opinion. And sorry if you hear background noise. It's very windy today. It's going to get to like 30 miles per hour for winds, which is great. So sometimes like 25, 30 miles per hour winds. So if you hear noise in the background, that's why. I guess the other small issue is I feel like the girlfriend got over a bit too quickly. Her Dave Franco, her boyfriend, dying. Granted, they kind of suggest that by the end things are not working out the best, but the fact that the zombie ate her former boyfriend's brains, I thought that maybe needed a little bit more friction, a little bit more anger before that settlement. But other than those two things, like the CG bonies and other stuff, which, I mean, again, the CG bonies, that's what they call the bone-like zombie creatures. I mean, they're better looking than the creatures in I Am Legend. But I mean, it's still. With that said, again, I thought it was stylish. Like when the lead eats the brains and you see the images of Dave Franco's past and his life. I thought that was the editing's fairly stylish. Again, the soundtrack was very good. I even liked the score. I think the score was at the very least decent and capable. The cast do their jobs well. Rob Corddry, as he's also starting to feel, same with these other zombies. And then you have the John Malkovich's soldiers coming in. They realize that these zombies are fighting these bonies. I like that the soldiers are, who do we shoot? And Rob Corddry throws one down. It's like, that one. So I like that the soldiers at least have common sense and go, yeah, okay, these guys are not hurting me. Those guys look ugly as fuck. Yeah, go for them. So at least the soldiers there have a smidgen of common sense, which a lot of times is lacking in these type of films. And John Malkovich, his hesitation I understand because, he wants to protect his daughter and things of that nature. There's another actor, sadly he doesn't have much to do, but there's another actor I recognize. He's one of the John Malkovich's soldiers. Corey Hardrick? He was the guy in Battle Los Angeles. He was the guy who his brother had previously served under Aaron Eckhart's regime, his battalion, and died. And so Corey's character gives Aaron Eckhart a hard time until Aaron Eckhart tells, yes, I remember your brother. I remember his name, his file ranking, his everything about him. And that gives the troops respect in order to go into the threat. I love Battle Los Angeles, on a side note. I don't care how many people hate that film. It got a bad rap. I think it's a damn good piece of entertainment. Aaron Eckhart is great. It's just straightforward soldiers versus aliens in a city with a good enough budget to service that simple story. Battle Los Angeles is damn underrated in my opinion. So it's nice to see him in there. Again, he doesn't have a lot to do, sadly, but it's still nice to see him in there. And overall, yeah, I liked that. That was pretty decent. That was a pretty decent flick. So, with that said, I don't have a lot of other issues other than that. Thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys later. Just again, on a quick note, if the love story didn't work, as in if the two leads exhibited no chemistry with each other, then this would be an absolute fail. It's PG-13, but that's because it's meant to be more a love story, not a zombie movie. It's just a love story in a different perspective. I'm fine with that. And I thought it was pulled off fairly well. So, with that said, thanks. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.